chacina da Candelária.
Da Candelária.
A chacina da Candelária.
Chacina da Candelária.
Candelária. Candelária. A chacina da Candelária.
Welcome to another episode of Samyar Videos, and today we'll talk about the real crime, Candelária Massacre. The Candelária Massacre happens on July 23, 1993, near to the Candelária Church in downtown Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The victims of the crime are homeless children and teenagers who lived near to the church. The attack was carried out by military police officers and armed men. Some people's present-day scenes acted as witness to the crime. Wagner dos Santos is one of the few people who survived the terrible Candelária massacre in Rio de Janeiro. At the time, many poor kids and young people had no home and used to live near the Candelária church. One night, a group of policemen and other men came and started shooting at them. 8 kids were killed. Wagner was only 21 years old, and he was shot 4 times, but somehow he survived. For him, this was very scary and painful. He saw his friends die in front of him. He felt fear, sadness, and anger, but also a strong will to live. After the massacre, his life did not become easy. People who want to hide the truth tried to silence him. Only 1 year later, he was attacked again at a train station, but once again, he survived. Wagner decided to speak the truth. He told the police and the court what he saw that night. His testimony was very important to show how the killers were, but this also made his life dangerous. Because of this, the government put him in a protected program, and later he had to leave Brazil. He went to Switzerland and Europe to stay safe. In the beginning, life there was very hard. He didn't know the language, didn't know many people, and had no job. But Wagner was strong. He started learning, work as a baker, and later as a locksmith. He built a new life, step by step.
Even today, Wagner still has a health problems because of the bullets. He has trouble hearing, part of his face doesn't move well, and he has bleeding in his body from the shots. But even with these problems, he keeps fighting. Now, Wagner lives in Switzerland with his Brazilian wife. He has a family, a job, and a more peaceful life. He doesn't want to go back to Brazil because of the danger and bad memories. His story is very sad, but also very powerful. It shows how someone can go through terrible things and still survive, rebuild life, and stay strong. Wagner is still alive today, carrying the pain of the past, but also showing courage and hope for the future.
In memory of the 8 victims, a cross was placed by the survivors themselves in front of the Candelária church. However, it was burned by an electrocriminal fire. Then, another cross was placed, but stolen by someone. And next, a third one was ripped off. Unfortunately, after all this, the attempt to honor the victims did not stop there. In July of 2023, after 30 years of the crime, the movement Candelária Never Again within the Toho organized the inauguration of the memorial and placed a 4th cross, which has 8 little tracks in its middle representing the victims, in addition to restoring the fountain that is part of the tribute.
To understand how the Candelária massacre case was investigated, it's important to talk about the evidence that emerged right after the massacre. The first key clue was the testimonies of survivors. Some of the children and teenagers who were in the square managed to escape and provided detailed reports of what happened. They said the police arrived in a van, go out and started shooting at the victims, who were sleeping or gathered together. There was no reaction or confrontation, and this was crucial to show that the attack was an execution without any justification. In addition, the forensic evidence was also very important. The autopsies showed that the shots were fired direct to the head, indicating that the victims were executed in a summary way. Another key point is that the investigation revealed the bullet casing found at the scene were from high-caliber rifles, weapons used by special police units, like the BOPE, Special Police Operations Coalition. This suggested that the attack might have been planned and carried out by a trained group. Images and videos from security cameras nearby also helped a lot. They helped identify the vehicles used by the police and confirmed that the attack's dynamics. However, despite this clear piece of the evidence, the road to solving the case was not easy. In the first year, there was strong resistance from the authorities to move forward without investigation. There were even attempts to cover up the case, such as intimidation of witnesses and manipulation of the evidence. It was only with the pressure from the civil society, human rights organizations, and the families of the victims that the case started to be treated more seriously. Public protests and media coverage helped keep the case in the spotlight. Finally, in 1996, 5 police officers were formally charged, but the judicial process dragged on for many years. Despite all the evidence, many of those responsible were not properly punished. The feeling of impunity was one of the biggest consequences of this case, and it made it clear how the justice system and law enforcement institutions needs a significant reform.
Moreover, some police officers from within the force started talking about what happened. In 1996, the military police officer Nelson Oliveira dos Santos caused a turnaround by confessing his participation in the crime. In addition, he pointed out other responsible people. Besides Marcos Emanuel, who was already in jail, the military police officers Marco Aurélio Dias de Alcântara and Arlindo Afonso Lisboa Jr., and the ex-police Maurício da Conceição. The latter, expelled from the military police in 1990 for torture, was known as Friday 13. He would be the leader of the group. Nelson's testimony was confirmed by others and triggered the acquittal of Cláudio dos Santos, Marcelo Cortes, and Jurandir Gomes França.
In June 2000, survivor Sandro do Nascimento hijacked bus 174 in Rio. After 4 hours, one hostage was killed and Sandro died in police custody. The officers were charged but acquitted. Witness Wagner dos Santos identified several police officers as responsible and later received asylum in Switzerland after surviving another attack. Former soldier Nelson Cunha also confessed and accused other officers. The trial had wide media attention. Marcos Emanuel confessed to shooting one boy but blamed most deaths on another officer who was already dead. His confession freed 3 officers who had been jailed for years. 10 years later, out of 52 accused policemen, only 4 were convicted. Emanuel, 300 years, Cunha, 18 years, and Marco Aurélio Alcântara, 204 years. At that time, only Alcântara remained in prison.